Greetings. This is Brother Eli. Welcome to Bible Truth Revealed. This channel is dedicated to exposing the lies of Christianity and revealing biblical truth. On this channel, we worship and serve the Most High God of Israel only. This teaching is entitled Exposing the Luciferian Religions of White Supremacy. That is, exposing the Luciferian religions of white supremacy. In this teaching, I will expose the three Luciferian religions of white supremacy. But first, for those who are completely unfamiliar with this subject, allow me to shed some light on Lucifer and his children. When Lucifer fell from heaven, he vowed to take vengeance on the Most High and his creation. We can learn about his fall in Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14, I'm reading verses 12 to 15 in the Brenton Septuagint translation. Again, Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 15, and it reads thus. How has Lucifer, that rose in the morning, fallen from heaven? He that sent orders to all the nations is crushed to the earth. But thou saidst in thine heart, I will go up to heaven. I will set my throne above the stars of heaven. I will sit on a lofty mount, on the lofty mountains towards the north. I will go up above the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Lucifer wants to be like the Most High. Verse 15 says, But now thou shalt go down to hell, even to the foundations of the earth. So we see that Lucifer wanted to be like the Most High, but instead he was crushed to the earth. To exact his revenge, he concocted a diabolical plan to destroy the Most High's creation. This included systematically making the whole world desolate, plus enslaving and destroying the beautiful melanated people that were created by the Most High. To learn how the Luciferian caste system was implemented to oppress and exterminate people of color, please listen to my teaching entitled The Truth About Colorism. That is, the truth about colorism. Isaiah chapter 14, I will continue with verses 16 and 17. Verse 16. They that see thee shall wonder at thee and say, This is the man that troubled the earth, that made kings to shake, that made the whole world desolate and destroyed its cities. He loosed not those who were in captivity. Lucifer and his children have destroyed entire cities, enslaved their inhabitants, and stolen their identities. You can find a specific example of this in my teaching entitled The Truth About the Children of Lucifer. That is, the truth about the children of Lucifer. Isaiah chapter 14, I will now read verses 20 to 22. Same chapter, verses 20 to 22. It says, As a garment defiled with blood shall not be pure, so neither shalt thou be pure, because thou hast destroyed my land and hast slain my people. This is a diabolical plan of Lucifer, destroying the Most High's creation, It continues, thou shalt not endure forever, thou an evil seed. Lucifer is pure evil. Prepare thy children to be slain for the sins of their father. This is why the children of Lucifer will be slain for the sins of their father, for the sins of Lucifer, which is destroying the Most High's creation, that they arise not and inherit the earth, nor fill the earth with wars, and I will rise up against them, says the Most High, and I will destroy their name, and remnant, and seed. Thus saith the Most High. So every single child of Lucifer will be exterminated from the earth. And when this happens, the melanated people of the earth will no longer suffer at the hands of the oppressor. All praises to the Most High. Now here's an example of the kind of pointless violence we will no longer have to worry about after the children of Lucifer have been destroyed.
A disturbing scene caught on video when a man in a wheelchair is assaulted in Crown Heights. Tonight, that victim is speaking out. And News 12's Rob Flax has this exclusive story.
Yeah, shocking video showing the moment that Troy McLeod is attacked while simply taking his dogs for a walk.
Call 911. Call 911. How can you do that to a man in a wheelchair?
I was in panic and then I tried to get up, but lucky thing someone was there.
Felt like a vengeful vibe to me because for the extent of the situation, there was no need for it.
Police say the suspect continued to act aggressively, throwing a wooden block at McLeod and striking him multiple times with a bench before pushing him out of his chair. Despite onlookers' attempts to stop him, he now faces 2 counts of second-degree assault. McLeod says the attack has left him with chronic pain in his hands, which he needs to get around.
When he hit me with a big piece of bench, I had to block it twice. So that's why my hand was in pain.
This is the kind of violence that we can expect from an evil seed. Lucifer and his children are evil. And this is why the Most High said that he will destroy their name and remnant and seed. Now let's learn about the Luciferian religions of white supremacy. Lucifer created 3 religions for the express purpose of spoiling the earth and destroying people of color. These 3 religions are Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. When we examine these religions throughout history, it soon becomes clear that they promoted a deep hatred for people of color. These 3 Luciferian religions are responsible for the enslavement and destruction of not millions, but billions of people of color. This is not a coincidence. It was done by design. The purpose of Luciferian religions is to exact Lucifer's vengeance against the Most High's creation. For those who think otherwise, I encourage you to research this subject for yourself, starting with the sub-Saharan slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade, not to mention the genocide of the people of color who were the original inhabitants of places such as America, Canada, and Australia. Many people have been bamboozled into believing that the Luciferian religions of white supremacy are Abrahamic religions. This could not be further from the truth. If our righteous forefather Abraham was with us today, he would want nothing to do with these evil, repulsive, genocidal religions. I will examine each Luciferian religion in turn and demonstrate that it is blasphemous to associate these abominations with our righteous forefather Abraham. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, under the heading Abrahamic Religions, it says this: as religious studies scholar Aaron Hughes wrote in his book Abrahamic Religions on the uses and abuses of history, in a critique of the category, this is what it says: rather than claim that the category Abrahamic religions names some historical phenomenon, I instead argue that it functions simultaneously as a form of wish fulfillment, and ecumenicism. Like many of the terms and categories we employ in the academic study of religion, it is artificial and imprecise. The term Abrahamic religions is artificial. That means made up, and imprecise is not accurate, not correct. A modern projection that we then transcribe onto the historical record. To be clear, the term Abrahamic religions was invented to fulfill the wish of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism to be connected to our righteous forefather Abraham. It is artificial and imprecise, a modern projection that is then transcribed onto the historical record. In other words, righteous Abraham has nothing to do with these man-made religions. They simply lay claim to his name in order to legitimize themselves. Now let's read Genesis chapter 18 verse 19 so I can demonstrate that neither Christianity, Islam, nor Judaism is the religion of Abraham. Genesis chapter 18 verse 19 says this: for I know, this is the Most High speaking, that he will order his sons and his house after him, and they will keep the ways of the Most High. This means that the Most High had confidence that Abraham would teach his children and his household to keep the commandments of the Most High, to do justice and judgment, that the Most High may bring upon Abraham all things whatsoever he has spoken to him. The Luciferian religions of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism do not keep the ways of the Most High. This is how we know that none of them is the religion of Abraham. These so-called Abrahamic religions include paganism, idolatry, and vile sexual practices. Let's start with Christianity. Our righteous forefather Abraham was not a pagan, so he did not worship any type of Trinity. He also did not teach his household to worship any Trinity. Yet most Christians insist that if you do not worship the Trinity, you are not a true Christian. In the New World Encyclopedia, under the heading Trinity, it says this: It has also been noted by scholars that many prototypes, antecedents, and precedents for the Trinity existed in the ancient world. Again, many prototypes, antecedents, and precedents for the Trinity existed in the ancient world, including examples in so-called pagan religions. The Trinity is a pagan concept, and therefore Christianity was not likely the first religion to cultivate the theological idea. Again, the Trinity is a pagan concept that existed long before the invention of Christianity. Although there were so-called trinities in the ancient world, our righteous forefather Abraham did not worship any of them. He served the Most High only. This is why the Most High is called the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob served the Most High only. If we claim to follow the religion of Abraham, we must also serve the Most High only. Let's examine one of the many passages in which the Most High makes it clear that he is not part of a Trinity. Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 to 6. Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 to 6 reads thus: For I, that singular, am, that singular, the Most High, and there is no other God beside me. Again, for the Christians that are listening, there is no other God beside me. A 3-year-old understands that this is one individual speaking, saying, I am the Most High, and this one individual says, there is no other God beside me. This means the Most High is not a part of a Trinity. It continues, I, that singular, strengthened thee, and thou hast not known me, singular. If you are worshiping a Trinity, that is evidence that you do not know the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Verse 6, that they that come from the east and they that come from the west may know. The Most High wants everybody to know that there is no God but me, singular. I, singular, am, singular, the Most High, and there is none beside. It cannot get clearer than that. But the pagans in the Christian church continue to worship a Trinity. What we have just read is what Abraham believed, and it is what Abraham taught his children and the rest of his household. Any religion that worships any Trinity is not an Abrahamic religion. It is simply wishful thinking to claim otherwise. Based on this fact, we can safely conclude that Christianity has nothing to do with our righteous forefather Abraham. For more irrefutable evidence that the Christian Trinity is a false pagan doctrine, please listen to my teaching entitled, Is the Christian Trinity False? That is the Christian Trinity false? Now let's examine the Luciferian religion of Islam. Islam is an idolatrous, stone-worshipping religion. They worship a black stone and claim that Abraham built the place where their stone god resides. Pay close attention to the following video about the black stone of Islam.
Mecca. It is home to one of the world's largest religious structures, the Grand Mosque. In the center courtyard of this immense edifice stands a 43-foot-tall granite cube known as the Kaaba, the house of God. 5 times a day, every day, almost 2 billion Muslims across the world turn and pray towards this striking black monument, the holiest and most sacred site in all of Islam. Why? Because embedded in the eastern corner of the shrine is perhaps the most sacred stone in all the world, the Black Stone of Mecca. For the world's 1.8 billion Muslims, this stone is crucial. When Muslims face in the direction of Mecca, they face in the direction of that stone.
The black stone is a crucial part of worship in Islam. First, let's learn a bit about the Kaaba. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, under the heading Kaaba, says this: the early history of the Kaaba is not well known, but it is certain, that means 100% sure, that in the period before the rise of Islam, it was a polytheist sanctuary. That means it was a place where many gods were worshipped and was a site of pilgrimage for people throughout the Arabian Peninsula. The Quran says of Abraham and Ishmael that they raised the foundations of the Kaaba. The Luciferian religion of Islam teaches that Abraham built the Kaaba. If this were true, it would have been mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. This is too significant for it not to be common knowledge and mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. Also, we know that Abraham was not a polytheist. He did not worship multiple gods. He worshipped the Most High only, so he would not have constructed a polytheist sanctuary such as the Kaaba. Let's hear what the Most High said about worshipping stones in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 1. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 1 says this: I am the Most High. Ye shall not make to yourselves gods made with hands or graven, neither shall ye rear up a pillar for yourselves, neither shall ye set up a stone, such as the black stone, for an object in your land to worship it. I am the Most High. The Most High has forbidden his holy people from worshipping a stone or any other object. Muslims insist that they do not worship the black stone, so let's remind them of the definition of the word worship. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines the word worship as to regard with great or extravagant respect, honor, or devotion. Muslims regard the black stone with great or extravagant respect, honor, and devotion. Whenever a Muslim bows down to kiss the black stone, it is an act of worship. This is idolatry. Now that this is clear, let's hear more about the idolatry of worshipping the black stone.
The black stone is therefore one of the focal points of the Hajj ceremony that every Muslim certainly tries to achieve during their lifetime. And they will then enter the central court of Mecca and, if possible, try to kiss the black stone.
Muslims can clearly identify when other people are worshipping stones. Yet, when it comes to the fact that Muslims worship the black stone, they somehow can't see it. This is called cognitive dissonance. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines cognitive dissonance as a state in which there is a difference between your experiences or behavior and your beliefs about what is true. So cognitive dissonance is a state which allows Muslims to worship the black stone while claiming they are not worshipping the black stone. It's the difference between their behavior and what they believe is true. It's actually quite sad when you think about it. One method we can use to help people with cognitive dissonance is to show them examples of other people doing the very thing they claim they are not doing. They are usually able to identify what other people are doing wrong, although they cannot see the wrong in their own behavior. To help out the Muslims, we are going to see some non-Islamic stone worshippers doing what they do best, worshipping stones. It will be clear that they are indeed worshipping a stone. Afterwards, we will see some Islamic or Muslim stone worshippers. And those of us who are blessed with intellectual honesty will be able to see that both groups are worshipping a stone. Even ex-Muslims are able to see this because they no longer suffer from cognitive dissonance as far as this particular issue is concerned. Here is Exhibit 1.
Originally, it was set down as a traffic barricade. Now the only people it stops are worshippers. A world-renowned shrine in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park.
Hindus come from around the world to worship before it. Buddhists pray at its feet.
It was once a granite traffic barricade at San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. It's now revered by thousands as a monument to the Hindu god Shiva.
Hundreds of Hindus visit each year on guided world tours of sacred sites. They burn incense and offer milk and honey.
Cool water and cool milk. That's he like.
Over time, you get enough people doing that, and you create an energy just kind of in the space itself.
Mystery solved thanks to Jim Wofford. 4 years ago, he moved the stone there, as he's done with hundreds of stones in his job as a crane operator.
We would just place it there in case they wanted to put it somewhere, maybe for a traffic barricade or in an entrance to a building.
Now some devotees want the site dedicated as a permanent temple.
I mean, if someone wants to come into Golden Gate Park and bow down to a stone or to a tree, that's their business and we could care less.
There is no doubt whatsoever that these people are worshipping a stone. Now let's see Exhibit 2, which shows Muslims worshipping the black stone.
Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar.
The main difference between the non-Muslims worshipping their stone and the Muslims worshipping their stone is that the Muslims are even more zealous in their worship of the black stone. The Muslims clearly regard the black stone with even greater and more extravagant respect, honor, and devotion than the non-Muslims have for their stone. To learn more about the Luciferian religion of Islam and why it must be rejected by all people of color, please listen to my teaching entitled Anti-Blackness in Islam. That is, anti-blackness in Islam. Finally, let's explore the Luciferian religion of Judaism. This is the most repulsive of the three Luciferian religions, so parental discretion is advised. To be clear, if you are a parent, you might want to watch this part of the teaching on your own before deciding whether it should be shared with your children. We must protect innocent minds. Here goes. The Most High established the covenant of circumcision with Abraham and his descendants. In the same way, Lucifer set up his own covenant of circumcision with his chosen people, the so-called Jews. The main difference is that the Luciferian covenant of circumcision requires the man performing the circumcision to stick the boy's penis in his mouth. How vile! Our righteous forefather Abraham did not suck anybody's penis, and this disgusting Luciferian practice is nowhere to be found in the Holy Scriptures. It comes from the Babylonian Talmud, which is one of the most ridiculous pieces of nonsense ever written by the children of Lucifer. Now let's learn how a Luciferian circumcision is performed.
For centuries, when a Jewish baby boy is born, the ancient ritual of circumcision is performed. But in some ultra-Orthodox communities, religious leaders, known as moyals, also engage in something controversial during the bris. In a practice known as Metzitza Bepeh, or just MBP, the moyal actually uses his mouth to suck the blood from the infant's penis after he cuts off the foreskin.
This repulsive practice causes all kinds of problems for the victims of this Luciferian ritual. We can learn about these from www.nyc.gov, which is the website of the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. In an article entitled Safe Bris, quote 1 says this: public health experts have found that Metzitza Bepeh can put babies at risk of getting a harmful virus called herpes simplex virus type 1 or HSV1. Some of these babies became seriously ill. Some developed brain damage and others have died. It goes without saying that our righteous forefather Abraham has nothing to do with this diabolical religion. This is clearly a Luciferian sacrifice. Quote 2 says, as a baby's immune system is not mature enough to fight infection, HSV1 is a serious risk for babies. If infected, babies will need to be hospitalized for at least 2 weeks of intravenous medicine to fight the infection. Even with treatment, the infection could result in lifelong disability. Lifelong disability. And babies could even die from the infection. And this is the result of some disgusting man sucking the baby's penis as part of the Luciferian ritual of circumcision. The fact that people are allowed to harm babies under the guise of religion tells us a lot about the state of the world we live in. When the children of Lucifer are in charge, anything goes. But when they are destroyed, the world will be at peace. This is one of the reasons we know for a fact that the sorry excuse for our religion that is known as Judaism today is indeed a Luciferian religion. Now let's learn about the covenant of circumcision that was established with Abraham and his descendants, so I can demonstrate that it has nothing to do with the despicable practice we have just witnessed. Genesis chapter 17, I will read verses 1 to 2 and verse 23. That's Genesis chapter 17, verses 1 to 2 and verse 23. It says, "And Abram was 99 years old, and the Most High appeared to Abram and said to him, I am thy God," singular. "Be well pleasing before me, and be blameless, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly." There is nothing well-pleasing about a man sticking a penis in his mouth and sucking it. So we know for a fact that our righteous forefather Abraham did no such thing. Verse 23, "And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all his homeborn servants, and all those bought with money, and every male of the men in the house of Abraham, and he circumcised their foreskins in the time of that day, according as the Most High spoke to him." Our righteous forefather Abraham had hundreds of servants in addition to his own family. He circumcised all the males according as the Most High spoke to him. But we can rest assured that he did not suck even one penis, because he was blameless and well-pleasing before the Most High. Do not be fooled by Lucifer's chosen people or their wishful claim that they follow the religion of Abraham. Only Lucifer knows why he commanded his chosen people to suck baby boys' penises. But let's hear how one of his children tried to explain the reason for performing this vile, disgusting, and abusive practice.
In the halacha, in Yeridea, that's the second section of the 4 sections of halacha called the Shulchan Aruch, the set table. In chapter 266, halacha 3, 4, 5, and 6, he describes how the circumcision is to be done. He says after the cutting, the mohel does what is called mitzitza, and mitzitza means to suck, and it means doing so with his mouth. And one could say, well, why can't you use a tube? Well, you could, technically, but it's not the custom as to how it was done. Now, why is it that way? Well, could say that in the olden days you didn't have tubes. Now you can have tubes, so why not? The answer, as I thought about it, is that it's not as effective because the tube does not seal as well, it's not as pliable, and furthermore, it's not as quick and it's not as close. You have to have a quick suction action, you have to have more pliability, and also there's the theory, some people feel that it is, some people feel that it's not, that the saliva of a human being has some antiseptic qualities, and it's actually brought in the halacha of the Talmud that the saliva of certain people were actually used as curatives.
I don't know about you, but what I've just heard is complete nonsense. And this is a regular practice that will continue until the Most High rids the earth of Lucifer and his children.
Just last month, yet another baby got infected with herpes after undergoing MBP in Orange County.
To learn even more shocking truth about this Luciferian religion of white supremacy, please listen to my teaching entitled, The Truth About Judaism Revealed. That is, the truth about Judaism revealed. In conclusion, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are Luciferian religions of white supremacy that are masquerading as Abrahamic religions. Nevertheless, based on the idolatrous, pagan, and vile practices promoted by these Luciferian religions, we can rest assured that our righteous forefather Abraham had nothing to do with these abominations. The religion of Abraham was to serve the Most High only and keep his commandments. So, if you claim to be a child of Abraham, you must follow in his footsteps. Reject the Luciferian religions of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and serve the Most High only and keep his commandments. And with that I say, Salam.